Okay. It's been a long time since I did one of these. So some of these I might have to skip because they might be really, really outdated at this point. But if you don't know, the only way I end up looking at TikToks is if you guys submit them into my Discord. Because, you know, there's DMCA music, and there's a lot of stuff that I have to kind of get checked for, so I have people that check it for me just to make sure everything's good. There's a process, and I don't really look at TikTok very often. So if you have these that you end up wanting me to see, make sure you submit them into there, because if you don't, then, well, I can't do this content as often. And I know a lot of you guys enjoy this content, so help me out with it. Okay, so the interesting thing about this, though, is, let me give you guys a little recap of where we are right now in this current timeline. We just got back from BlizzCon. Now, if you are in the future and you know about BlizzCon, BlizzCon was pretty fucking good. We learned a lot of good things, and things actually look hopeful. These are probably from, like, the last month or two, and so I want to see how much has our perception changed in just a couple months. Let's get it. On Kiriko's bio, it says the Shimada clan was overtaken when she was 12. Oh, is this going to be some lore arguing? Okay.
Broken. Yeah, this user's right. It says when she was 12 years old, Sojiro Shimada was assassinated, which would be 9 years ago. However, Brothers, Hanzo and Genji's cinematic, happens 10 years after Genji was killed. And Brothers took place 2 years before current Overwatch. Which means, according to all other lore aside from Kiriko's lore, he was killed 12 years ago. Meaning, if this line is correct, she would have to be 24, not 21. This is literally on the same webpage.
Oh yeah, okay, this is a little while back. Yeah, they released all the ages of characters. Man, they f***ed that up. They f***ed that shit up so bad.
As her age. I don't care how much you love Kiriko. That is a clear mistake. Somewhere, someone did not read something. So either it was 9 years ago, as according to this singular line, or it was 12 years ago and Kiriko should be 24 years old. Blizzard, make it make sense.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna make the joke that all non-cinematics for Overwatch, the lore is so niche and that most people don't actually end up watching or reading the comments or comics or whatever, that not even Blizzard knows the true lore, because nobody I really know reads all of that. I know, don't get me wrong, I know there's a lot of people that are super interested, but I'm not one of those people. And a lot of people that I know also don't read every single comic that comes out and every single, you know, like, very small lore book that comes out. If it's not watchable, I just ain't watching it. So that's why, at the end of the day, we need an Overwatch anime. Say it with me. Overwatch anime. Let's all squint for this one. That was the, yeah, you see that in the bottom left? That thing right there that says plat? Yeah. This was, yeah. Not gonna lie. The only difference between this and Overwatch 2 this is the fact that there's one less person to stun you. That's it. All those stuns still exist in Overwatch 2 nowadays. The sleep's there, the hook's there, the shatter's there. You just get sluiced. So, I don't actually think it's that much different, but anyways.
Start using these.
The whole Overwatch 2 versus Overwatch 1 6v6 versus 5v5 argument is so interesting to me.
Start using these 3 tips in your games and you'll instantly start to rank up. Send this to your dog shit friend that desperately needs to see this TikTok.
Oh god. Dude, I thought we were past the you know, like the Overwatch 2 just came out, here's some tips videos.
Number 1, when fighting in Overwatch, it's very important to know and keep...
Let me give you a tip. You're on Cassidy? Swap.
...track in your head what ults the enemies have, what they're most likely going to have, as well as what ults and abilities you can use to counter those ults. This will help you from wasting...
That's more than one tip. That's like 10 tips at once. That's like a... Wait, why are you tagging... Oh, shut the f*** up.
ult when you may need to save it later in the fight or game. Number 2, when you get killed in Overwatch, stop skipping the kill cams. When you die, you can briefly ping where the enemy that killed you is by spamming your ping key, as well as you can see the enemy's ult shard. With this, you can communicate with your team and plan accordingly. Number 3.
I mean, that's true, but it's kind of a crutch, but yeah, it's true.
If you're playing payload and you are attacking, if you want the biggest advantage you can get, always fight on the payload. It heals 10 HP per second.
No, that's not even good advice.
Meaning it will stack on top of your other.
Dude, you should go back and watch World Cup. Dude, 90% of the teams never even touched the cart. They were f***ing 10 miles ahead. Because positioning's what matters.
Than the enemies. Use these 3 tips.
Hey, listen, all I'll say though is at least, you know what? The only reason I bring it up is because I saw it on Twitter like 2 weeks ago. Somebody brought up that guy's TikTok from the back at the beginning of Overwatch 1. Do you remember the one that was like, I pick Brig to dive with my diva or some shit? You remember it though? It was like the guy who was like trying to like give tips on like why you pick certain supports, and then everyone was like, holy shit, this is the worst video ever. And they're like, well, I just started playing the game the other day, so relax. Why are you guys all getting so mad at me? And it's like, why are you giving tips? You started playing 4 days ago. You know?
Tips in your next comp game, and I promise you'll start to improve. Tag or send this to a friend that.
No, that's not true. That's kind of some bait, but I mean, it wasn't a bad video, but it's a little bit bait. Okay, next.
The real best crosshair for every hero in Overwatch.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
For Brig, I like to use this one. It shows you the exact hitbox of your mace and your shield bash.
What in the f is... It's like someone f***ing duct taped a flashcard to your screen.
And when you pop ult, it shows you the new hitbox of your larger shield. You will never miss another shield bash.
No. This isn't right. This is not true. This is not true. The hitbox is not this. It's up here and down here, okay? It actually covers all of this and all of this and over here as well. It's not big enough.
Of your larger shield. You will never miss another shield bash with this crosshair.
Oh boy, what is this?
Here are 3 of the most broken metas that have ever touched Overwatch. Tag or send this to a friend that didn't get to play during these metas, and comment down below how many metas you missed or played during. Number 1, goats. This was one of the earliest team comps in Overwatch, and it was 3 tanks and 3 supports, always containing a Lucio and a Brig. Kaizen, why the f are they using Brig? Because let me tell you, because back then, Brig was the most broken support.
Back then? That never changed. It just went from being broken to strong.
You have ever seen. That's a topic for another video. Goats was the comp where you didn't sit at the choke just picking at the enemy. The Lucio would pop amp speed boost and you were going straight to point, straight into the action. And you're either getting rolled or you're rolling. There's no in between. Number 2, double shield. If you played during this time, you know that this meta wasn't really...
Yeah, but what variation of double shield? There was like 7 variations. There's the Doomfist May variation. There's the double sniper variation. There's the Brig Zen variation. There's a lot of variations of this.
Broken, but rather just incredibly boring. I kid you not, you would spend the first 2 minutes of any round just burning through the Sig shield, then the Rhine shield, but then once you destroy the Rhine shield, the Sigma shield would be back up.
You mean the Orisa shield?
And it would just go back and forth and back and forth.
Yo, I'm not, all of a sudden, I don't trust your history lesson.
So one of you guys picks a Sombra and just EMPs and wins.
Wait, no, you didn't pick Sombra. Sombra was terrible. Wait, Sombra was terrible in double shield because of the 2 shields, she could never build ult, so nobody played her. Wait, there was never a double shield Orisa, a double shield Sombra meta. That didn't exist.
It was so boring, and I'm not exaggerating when I say to you, you'd spend the entire game shooting a shield and have like 7 elims at the end of the game. Number 3, dive. Now, I don't think personally that this meta is broken, but it's been around since the beginning of Overwatch and has always been really strong. If you're 5 stacking and can coordinate a dive, it can be insanely broken, but it does need good communication. And just a side note, if you've ever seen any rank below like gold trying to coordinate a dive, it's the funniest thing ever. I don't mean to be condescending, but if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. How many of these did you do back in Overwatch 1? Or how many do you remember? Comment down below and tag a friend that has never seen these metas before.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, all of them. Any meta trying to be played in gold was pretty funny, but
That's because since Overwatch came out, they've never really wanted to piss off the support player base.
This aged like milk.
We're hitting a point now where tank players and even DPS players are.
That's actually not totally true. That's not totally true, actually.
So much in this current meta that there's a high likelihood support gets nerfed heavily in one of the upcoming seasons.
I feel like this is a perfect time to have like a little thing in the corner, like a little PNG of like a of all the nerfs.
But because support players, a lot of support players are kind of just terrible, and actually good support players don't get recognized for being good 9 times out of 10.
That's not true.
And get hit with the "why aren't you healing more" accusations every time. It's not only the balance team.
Didn't Aaron say that he plays a lot of Moira in one of his interviews? I can tell you from my own experience, I don't know if he actually plays a lot of Moira, but Aaron's Rhine goes hard.
Understands how
Aaron's Rhine is actually hilariously good.
Roll out like DPS. Actually, I think that's a good thing. It's a first-person shooter game. Everyone should be engaged with the FPS stuff. The only problem I have with...
Okay, I don't want to go too deep in this because support's kind of got nerfed, so like there's no point in really talking about it. Although supports probably do need might need another slight change in the future, but at the moment it's too early to tell. It's way too early to tell. A lot of people are still like, oh, the support nerfs weren't enough. It's too early to tell. Gotta give it like another month.
This one character is ruining Overwatch 2. In a game where you're rewarded for swapping to counter the enemy team's picks, Orisa has climbed to the top of the totem pole after some slight buffs, and the last 2 supports that were released are able to safely put out a massive amount of healing. So now Orisa just cannot die while countering.
Hot take, Orisa was never that good.
80% of the time.
Hot take, scalding hot take is Orisa was not that good. She wasn't. She was just a wall.
Roster. Doomfist, Reinhardt, Jungle Queen, Ramatra.
I still stand by that.
Ball, Hog. Say goodbye to your fun. If this.
You know what's funny is, honestly, the 5% nerf, everyone's like, oh my god, it didn't do anything. It didn't do anything. Then World Cup hit, and all the teams that played Orisa got rolled by the Sigma teams. Did you guys notice?
Centaur is on the enemy team. It doesn't matter if she doesn't do the most damage out of all the tanks, she will always outlast her opponent and kill them anyway. Couple that with how she neutralizes all the value you can get out of so many tanks, it feels like you have no options. You can mirror match up or try Zarya, which is kind of a side grade.
Is Sigma gonna get mentioned?
You'll beat the Orisa. Orisa needs to be tweaked to allow more interaction.
No Sigma mentioned.
Block melee attacks if she already cuts them in half with Fortify or interrupts them.
So why is Sigma better? Or why did Sigma end up being better? 1, he's better against Bastion, but 2, he's the same thing. He's just a wall. Is passive, but he does good damage.
The Javelin shouldn't be so disruptive if the hitbox is so massive and the cooldown so
Javelin's not a problem. I really don't like that people are like, oh my god, Javelin is not that good. Like, it's good, don't get me wrong, but ever since they nerfed the amount of damage and the range, you don't one-shot people across the map like you were in like Season 2, Season 3. It's not that good.
The overheat mechanic on a gun basically non-existent. Does anyone even overheat on that thing? There's so much that can be done, but the devs just keep tweaking her damage fall off and her fortify. What do you think?
Yeah, I disagree. I think history has proven us right, because this came out in September. Now we're in November, and we watched World Cup, and there was only one nerf, and that was the Fortify nerf from 50 to 45. I think history was on our side.